Hey guys, back again to do another video, another recap. We did our Bible study um, Saturday, Memorial Day weekend, May 26th, and still in that Jesus Walk series. We talked about, um, in this one here, we talked about Jesus being the accused. Okay. And I didn't say guilty. That was last week when we talked about the adulterous woman. But essentially, what we're talking about here is Jesus, who's not guilty of any of the things that they are bringing before him. Okay. Um, Again, last week we talked about the adulterous woman, and clearly she was guilty. Jesus was not guilty, but he still remained accused. Okay. One of the takeaways that we got from last week, and it is carried into this week, is the fact that God said to me, every time they accuse you, they accuse me. Okay. And that's very profound, but it needs to be clarified in one sense. That's only true if you've accepted grace, if you've accepted the salvation. Because if not, technically, you're still guilty. Technically, all of that weight, all of that heavy burden is still on you that you shouldn't have to bear because of a simple act. I say simple, not to downplay it by any means. Okay, but we saw it in Mark 15 in a very literal sense. Okay, and there were some takeaways because we realized that um, early in the morning, the Sanhedrin, the Pharisees, they got together and they tried to do everything that they could do to find something to accuse Jesus of. Okay, it was very notable how uh, Pilate was very aware that they were very envious and resentful of Jesus. He knew they didn't have a reason. So even when they asked him, they said, "Why do you want to kill this man?" They had no answer. They had no answer. Have you ever had someone who disliked you, treated you a certain type of way, and they really had no reason for why they felt that way? They really had no idea. And when you ask them, the only thing they can say is, "Oh, well, I just don't like it." Now, it's something different when we're talking about a spirit of discernment. But it's something also different. These guys didn't have a spirit of discernment. Because if they were able to discern that, they would know that he was the Messiah. And the many times that they tried to get him caught up on something, the only reason they were able to get him caught up this time is because he was fulfilling the purpose that he was set on earth to do. Okay? So one of the things also that again stood out when we talk about very early in the morning that they did this. This is very similar to Revelations 12 and 10. This is the same thing that Satan does. Stands before God accusing the brethren day and night. Day and night. He's also accused of many things. Many things. And we talked about it being a very strategic lawyer practice that one of two things happens. Either they will find multiple charges against you, one of them's got to stick, right? Or they will find one thing and have multiple pieces of evidence. Evidence. Just imagine it. The response of Jesus, that is. That's probably the most important thing of this Bible study here. When you look at the response back, both when the adulterous woman was on trial, and then also um, as Jesus was essentially um, on trial. Jesus did one liners, he didn't say a whole lot. Meanwhile, we're accused of things and we feel the need to disprove everything and waste so much time for things that should not have such a high priority in our spirits and our minds. And we become so bothered by things that we're distracted from the things that are even important. We've all been guilty of it, but God wanted to highlight that point. Why are we fighting things that He's already fighting? Job was accused of many things. Oh, if you take away his health, he won't praise you. If you take away you've given him this, you've given him that, take it away. He won't praise you. He won't love you. His own wife said curse God and died. His own friend said curse God and died. Very similar to Revelations 12 and 10 because he had to get the permission of God first. Just a thought, instead of trying to disprove the things that are brought before God that are false day and night, why don't we get into the presence of God and praise and worship with that same energy that we use to disprove things that are not true to begin with? How much more powerful would we be? How much more would you have the cheerleader of God in looking at us like how he looked at Job and just kind of smiled and said, oh, you think you're going to get that one? Here, you can try it, but I'm telling you now, he's not going to flinch. He's not going to, The accused. Oftentimes we are the accused, not the guilty, the accused, just like Jesus was. But how do we respond? Do we respond with little words? So little words that whatever response we have, prayerfully a holy one, that it causes for our enemies to leave out one by one. One by one. Just a thought. Jesus walks. He's the accused. We were made in his image. And just like they hated him, they will hate us too. But you got somebody who believes in you, who's your cheerleader, and who knows exactly what it's like to be accused of something you are not guilty of. Therefore, that's why he fights on our behalf. He's a just judge. He was so in Job's case. He vindicated somebody who was guilty. So if he could do it for the guilty, he could do it for those who are not guilty. He'll bang that gaveling down and say, nah, not my child. Can you believe that God believes in you that much? Believes in me that much? Will go to war for me that much? That a crazy devil can accuse me day and night and none of the things that he accuses me of can stick? But I must accept the salvation first, because that is the gateway. Guys, you have a wonderful and a blessed, safe, happy Memorial Day weekend. Take care.